Chilekupu Obugu Kerelu Kala Aina Torogo Mama Lependem Garangamugua Obunde Shila Rapid Television Abia Kamano Labum Paretoka Kamano Labum I from Basaru Melala Madashi Chilekupu Jilwe Bia Lejuala Nam Shobiarangama Bulem Yange Lampu Apply Lazo O Bojila in the Janabata Oganoje, Lanani Jiri Luan, Luanani, Oganada Njida Nabatawe, Oganojila in the Janabato behind, and my Chile Kupu, Mbabiarua, many of Jagawe Toji Tatama. I get Toji Tatudo, I get Toji Tato Galihi, O get to Raja State Ma. O get to Nigeria ma. La Hankenna. Lankopara. Lanke Monso. Amen.
Good morning, glad to have you join us on today's episode of Eastern Circle on Rapid TV channel 176 on Star Times, and we are reaching you live from our studio here in Umuahia, the capital of Abia, God's own state. And if you've been missing on episodes of Eastern Circle, do well to follow us on our YouTube channel at Official Rapid TV. My name is Adeze Egwim, and as always, I've got the company of Michael Odogum. On screen, it's also Biko.
Please calm down. It does. At least you've admitted it on national television, so that's fantastic. So I feel.
Disclaimer, Biko.
Disclaimer. Good morning. A very good morning to you. Yes, welcome to Eastern Circle. Yes, it's another day, a beautiful day. Still in the new month, Spirit on the show this morning. So welcome, and you know, my name is Michael Odemina. Just in case you think I've forgotten. But I thought about something because definitely our conversation this morning kind of took me back to way back when, growing up, when, you know, I would want to ask, first of all, did you get this treatment of caning? Maybe older ones, my treatment? See, I have an experience. A very interesting one. Okay, maybe not interesting, but very painful.
It's interesting because it has to be interesting because you were flogged to be corrected. True or false?
In my case, though, the interesting part of it is not the one that was, because it was mischief, a case of mischief. I had an older brother, a bully. You know, actually, this guy, yes, if he's watching this now, he knows I'm talking about him. Like growing up, my immediate, not like he's even far older, just my immediate older. Because while growing up, I wasn't quite out. I wasn't quite. How would I put it now? I looked like the small one in the family at some point. So he would. When we have just playing outside, for no reason at all, he would either give me a knock on the head or kick me around and stuff like that. And it was fun for him. Not like it was anything serious. It was just fun for him. And I kept imagining, why was he always doing that to me? It was kind of depressing at some point. But
really?
He didn't care. Yes. But he didn't care. Because he's my older brother and I couldn't do anything. You know? But actually, we know the case of spare the rod, spoil the child. So in most cases, children are being punished for certain wrong deeds.
Exactly. Yeah. I had similar experience. I had cousins who always corrected you by twisting your ear.
Oh.
They would just hold your 2 ears and just twist, and you won't do anything. You just go back to the house. And while growing up also, my mom is a teacher. So we had our canes, me and my siblings, according to your age and size.
Oh, wow.
So when there is an issue, she will call you, you will go and bring your cane and come forward and take your punishment. So at a time, when she buys this cane and keep, will break and dispose. So when she got to know about that trick, she now buys the cane, call you and give you your cane, take, God to say, take, go and keep, take, go and keep. So when she wants to punish you, she will call you, Adezoya, where is your cane? Go and get it. So when you say it's missing, what happened to it? You are supposed to be in charge of that cane. So while growing up, it was a thing, and I believe my mother didn't flog us out of hatred. it was probably to correct for a wrong doing or something like that. But I don't think most people still flog these days.
Oh yeah, actually, because of our current generation. But by the way, looking at the screen, just try to see if you can figure out which of the elements or tools on this you can see
was used on you.
which of the tools.
I think there is one that is missing here. I'm not seeing slippers here.
Oh.
I'm not seeing slippers. I'm not seeing the spatula for turning direct. You just fling it from wherever they are and...
Exactly. Okay, so think about it. Which of the tools that you can see on the screen now was majorly used as a tool of correction for you back when you were growing up? Of course, we go on a quick break right now. Think about that, and the conversation continues shortly. Good morning.
My daughter, you're welcome. I thought I saw you going to the farm this morning. Oh, you came back and still went to the stream to fetch water. Have you eaten?
No, Papa.
Nedi. Go and drop that thing and eat quickly before you do any other thing in the house.
Nani, what? Oh, no, please. She must fill up all the pots before she can have anything to eat.
Nedi, Mama. Allow this little girl to eat. Let her eat and have strength to do every other thing in the house for you. By the way, what is Nkechi doing? Nkechi! Nkechi Nyore!
Okay, so I believe by now you must have had a clear picture of whatever tool that was used for you back then. For me, from my dad, it would be the cane, the cane, the rod of correction, as they call it sometimes. So that was basically it, But it was all out of love anyway. But we weren't that severely punished by our parents. Yeah. Me personally, I don't know about other people's experience. It was really when it was most necessary,
yes.
And it was not very frequent as well.
It wasn't. For us, it was actually when we did. So most times, the highest offense was probably when my mom is going out and she says, "Don't leave the house," and you disobey and come. Probably she's coming back and she sees you outside. Yeah. Just from that place she's sighting, you just go and bring your cane and come and keep. You don't even need her to say anything to you. But just like I mentioned before, this kids of this generation, you don't even bring cane close to them, and they have this attitude of trying to blackmail you that if you flog them, that means you don't love them or you don't like them.
Well,
but when you try to take them back to what it was growing up, and I was talking to my niece one day and I told her, do you know my mom has this very short cane that she uses for them. Their parents don't flog them. They don't have a cane. So whenever they come to grandma's house, grandma has this short cane she uses to scare them. And I keep telling them, this cane your grandma is using is small compared to what we had when we were growing up, and they still find it
surprising and absurd for them.
To
yeah,
believe
because
and say, how can
times
someone
are different. Times are different. And talking about going back in time, let's go back to the video we just watched a few minutes back. And that video, in a regular Nollywood epic setting, what will follow maybe the girl in question. Sometime later, you see her under the mango tree with one boy that is liking her.
The prince will fall in
who
love
will now
with her.
console her and all of that. But in a very mad love story, we kind of emanate from there. But that's beyond what we are discussing this morning, because that video has a lot to do with our topic this morning, and talking about maltreatment. That's basically it. When a parent, or parents in this case now, decide to maltreat their own children, it's a very crazy experience. And in movies like this, what we notice basically is that it's usually a stepmother situation, maybe a third wife, a second wife, or just a stepmom who would come in and then, in terms of taking care of the man's children,
Start maltreating them.
Start maltreating them for one reason or the other. So but then it's something that we see happen in the society for various reasons, actually. So but then the story that this is taking us to actually is what we are discussing this morning, that a couple have been arrested in Anambra State for severe child abuse and starvation. Severe child abuse and starvation. The reason for this couple being arrested, all right? And of course, let's get to talk about this shortly after the break, all right? We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere.
To handle students is just like to head cats. You cannot make cats go in one way. They will just go here and then there. So the only way you can handle students is by caning them. Otherwise, they will just run around like cats. If you just talk in our normal so if you don't use a stick here, you cannot manage, because that is used from home to school. So that is just a normal.
Yeah. Irene, come here. Irene. Come on, please. This way.
Yeah, a lot of memories there in that video. If you were once a student, or maybe in fact, maybe in recent time, that it might not be anything for you, because, like you said, not much flogging these days.
Exactly.
Some don't even do that at all.
Especially in schools, if you flog any child, the parents are coming to fight the school management and the teachers.
Exactly. And by the way, what you just saw in that video is not a good sight at all. Not something to be encouraged, because the person even speaking said to herd. I like the word herd human beings. Herd is what you use for animals. Cattle. You don't herd human. And you say to herd human is like to herd cattle. Like, how would you say that? So that tells you the mindset of, which is why sometimes you see that maybe parents come to school to make trouble, because their children were treated like animals. There's a way you punish a child, and then that goes beyond. Anger. Exactly. Just like I told you, my parents, it was only when it was necessary. And then when you see the caning as well, yes, you will be pained, but you will know that it's out of correction. But sometimes I don't know what's in the minds of people, especially some teachers, who would flog children in a way that makes you wonder, leave marks on them and all of that. It's totally wrong and condemnable. Children, they're not animals. So you don't cane them or you don't punish them like animals. Very annoying, really.
All right, let's move on to our story this morning. A couple known as Mr. and Mrs. Uche has been arrested for child abuse, starvation, and refusal to provide necessaries for their 5 underage boys in Osumeni, Nnewi South LGA in Anambra State. The couple denied starving the kids, stating that they always feed the kids, but the children prefer eating raw rice, which they don't know where they picked up from. The oldest of the kids revealed that Peace Mbono is his father's 3rd wife, and ever since she came into their family, they've faced a lot of untold hardship. He said that they feed once a day for the days she will give them food, then rely on raw rice and palm kernel after hunger must have greatly dealt with them. He added that at some point he stopped school to help his father in his block industry, molding between 4 to 6 bags of cement per day. Further investigation revealed that Mr. Uche Mbono has married 2 wives before finally settling with a 3rd one, Peace Mbono, who was his sales girl, and that the kids are all products of his previous marriages.
Okay. Interesting. So some people prefer to eat raw rice. Like, how is that even a thing? It's very impossible. Like, because obviously you would see that this couple are trying to wiggle their way out of the situation, because they have been actually apprehended. And first thing I would say is, again, kudos go to the the Ministry of Women and Children Social Welfare in Anambra State. All right, because when I was going through this story, actually, someone made a comment that that he is not surprised that it's Anambra again. That's some kind of story. And then I'm like, oh no, it is not the case. All right, because first of all, the reason why this is happening is because there is that ministry functioning in the state. All right, to handle this case.
Cases.
All right, it's very important that we have that this kind of thing is in existence, and not just existing on papers, but actually in practical terms. Because if not, we won't be seeing things like this. Because if you look at it now, just within the last year, from now to the past 1 year, Lagos alone recorded about 416 child abuse cases. And around 2022, it was some northern states like Yobe, Adamawa, and Borno that were on the top list of child abuse cases. So Anambra among the southeast, it doesn't mean that if we dig into all these other states, we won't uncover a lot. But because these people have set a standard, set a system that helps in discovering and attending to these situations, these cases. And it looks like there are a lot of them in that place.
These ministries are actually able to do this work because people speak out and say what they actually see. You get? There are a lot of people around us who are actually going through these things. There are kids around us going through these things, but we do this balcony lifestyle. Yeah, it's not my business. Exactly. It's not my child. He went to pick her from wherever, or it's his or her child. So let him train or handle the child the way he or she wants. But when we're able to speak out and report to the right appropriate quarters, I believe that they will take it up and do the necessary things.
Of course, and you know, actually, maybe other cultures or ethnicities might not have the same notion, but in Southeast, in Igbo culture, a child belongs to the community. Everybody. It's everyone's responsibility to take to the responsibility of training the child. So if you see something that is not good, you don't damn well keep quiet. You say something.
I agree with
you say something.
That's true.
You know, that's why even there's an adage. I don't know how to fix this in Igbo, but that adage translates to, when you see something and you don't say it, that's the fault of the adult. But when something is said and nothing is done about it, then becomes the fault of the child. So you cannot see something going wrong as an adult, as a human being in the society, and you keep quiet. So we should have that habit of constantly reporting cases like this so that they get to the limelight and they be treated. Because if you look at it, in the same Anambra, that was when we treated, on this same show, we talked about the woman who also had a help. That was earlier this year. A woman that maltreated her house help. Exactly, the lawyer, who later said it was a case of molestation, that the house help was molesting her child. You know, a situation like that. We've had cases upon cases, similar situations happen in that same area, because this ministry is active, up and doing. So what happens to other states, and you know, equipping this ministry and making sure that they are up to standard and doing what they're supposed to do on a daily.
And moving to the story for today, you made mention of something where we saw that Nollywood movie where you said the stepmothers are always the ones who
would maltreat the
children. And I tried to look at this particular scenario. How would a child who you feed once, how can you even feed these boys once in a day? And probably they're just coming up with this lie of them eating raw rice because that's the only excuse they can give.
I mean, very
these kids are not eating the rice because they want to punish or do something. Probably that's the only thing they see to eat in the house. Now, this kind of stepmom is someone that would probably lock up the food somewhere and go to the shop and
the only access they would have would be the store for this.
Oh my God, it's not easy. Looking at the kind of job the man is doing, he's a laborer, he moves blogs, and you would know that it might be very difficult for him to feed the 5 boys with the economic situation that we're facing in the country. It's difficult to feed one person, talk more of 5 boys, and I heard that you men eat a lot.
Well, I don't know about that because I don't think I don't have a very large stomach. But looking at this case, you see, we can see clearly. First, there's a case of poverty. All right, poverty is one of the major players in this particular crime right now, because at some point the boy had to even quit school to go join his father to help him in the block industry, as the story clearly said. And these boys, I think the oldest is about 17 years old. So they are not just children. So they have come to age of, you know, being properly taken care of. And he has to take the responsibility of quitting school so he could help make some money and, you know, take care of things. And you look at it now, the family, for instance, the man being this woman being the third wife, and the children all products of the previous marriages, for instance. So we look at a state where the woman, it could be, because some people, I don't know, I would say mostly is a case of mental state not being very stable, because you didn't give birth to a child, it's not a reason for you to treat them like trash. That's cause for mental evaluation of human beings most of the time. In cases like this, look at that person clearly. You know, sometimes we think that we are a lot of us,
it should be mental evaluation of both the man and the woman, because you can't be in the house and watch someone maltreat your children like that. Something must be wrong with you for you to sit as a man of the house and watch your children being maltreated. They're not being given food, they're not going to school, you're not providing for them, and you watch someone else maltreat them. It's not right. If they have to be checked, both of them need to be checked.
Exactly. Both of them needs to be checked. Both of them need to be checked, because this is beyond normal. It's totally beyond normal.
Why would a man who can take care of himself go and be having wives up and down?
Well, that's actually the question mark, because we want to ask the question, where are the previous two wives? Maybe something happened to them. Maybe they are no longer in existence, and the man had to move on, because it's Africa it's Nigeria, it's Igbo culture.
The first wife is not in existence, the second wife is not. I don't believe that.
It's possible, or maybe something happened and they are no longer there. Besides, in Igbo culture, a man can be polygamous. All right?
Michael, I don't want to argue that with you, because I don't know the position or where these other wives, supposed wives, are, if they are alive or just had to move out of the man's house. So if I know their stand or position in the man's life, I would be able to respond to this or polygamous stuff. But because I don't, I'll reserve my comment.
Very much, you're welcome to reserve your comment, but that doesn't change what the status quo is. It's Igbo culture. If you have the means to have more wives,
exactly, I like that. If you have the means, don't bring in women to
where we get it wrong, because what I just said now is the premise upon which polygamy culturally is predicated upon. You have to have the means.
Exactly.
In those days, people that you say that are polygamous, you see them, they call them, some of them are SAGs, which means you are known to be a wealthy farmer.
That's what I know it for, because you need the many wives so they can give you children who would help you in the farmland.
Great. So it's difficult to say in this case, but whatever the case is, this is an anomaly that should be condemned. So, but the case actually it's heartwarming, because they have been taken over by the police. The police have taken over the case. All right, they will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded, and definitely we want to see something happen about this case as soon as possible, because it's usually a case of it's a problem when we say justice delayed becomes justice denied. We don't want to see that in this case. Whoever is found guilty of committing a crime should start paying as soon as possible.
Exactly.
So that other people would be discouraged.
From going into it.
And let's not say, is it not Anambra? It could be happening in your backyard. So just be open. Let's have this communal mindset. Let's have this together mindset. When you see something happening around you, you'll be able to speak up, so that maybe that person facing it doesn't have the means to speak up, or there's no one to hear when they are speaking up. You could be the ear that they are
They might have been saying something probably to the wrong persons, and who are not able to
do anything about
it. But thank God, help has finally come, and like we said, let the perpetrators face the music.
Okay. Of course, on that note, of course, this should be all we have for you on the episode today. It's kind of emotional for me. It's talking about topics like this, treating topics like this kind of usually gets me emotional because I hate seeing people go through stuff that they shouldn't be going through at all. So let's try as much as we can to prevent these things from happening.
I agree with you because those kids didn't beg anybody to bring them into this world. So
I usually say
since
that
they are here, you have to do everything possible to take care of them.
Definitely. Thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of today's episode. It's been a wonderful time here. But go out there and make a difference in your local community because charity, they say,
begins at home.
begins at home. So thank you once again, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right, we'll take you back to our Abuja studios right now for the rest of Rapid Dawn. See you tomorrow.
Good morning.